So from here, if I refresh this my page right now, now that I've set the color to red, starting from where I stopped in the previous lesson, if I refresh my page, you should be seeing this now as red because this is the color property, which is this is the property which is color, then the value which is red. Okay, so it is similar to the internal is similar to the external, just a little change, which wouldn't be hard. Okay, it won't be difficult. So that is how to work with inline CSS. Okay, then the internal CSS. An internal CSS is used to define a style for a single HTML page. What I want you to understand clearly now is that an inline CSS is used to apply a unique style to a single HTML element. That element is like a tag. Okay? Why an internal CSS is used to define a style for an HTML page. That's this particular HTML page. This is your style. You understand? For a single HTML page, a whole page. Why for inline? Inline is just a single element. Then internal for a whole page. An internal CSS is defined in the head section of an HTML page within a style element, a style tag element. Okay? The following example sets the text color of all the H1 element on that page to blue and the text color of all the paragraph elements to red. In addition, the page will be displayed with a powder blue background color. So there's something I want us to understand right now. Let's assume we clear everything we have in this in between the body tag. Clear it. Then all we have left is just this. We can go further by saying let's design. We can in inline CSS. Remember, we said you can use it to style. You can use it to style a single element, a single HTML element. That's a single tag, a unique style for a single tag. But if you are using internal, you can use internal CSS to style as many elements as you want to style. Just once, writing that code once. I will show you the difference. I'll write H1. I'll create 5 H1. My first H1. Then the second H1 should be H1 again. My second H1. And the next one should be my third H1. And this is another H1 again. It should be my third H1. The next one should be my fourth H1. Yeah. See, my fourth H1. Then the last one should be my fifth H1. H1 should be my fifth H1. So now we have 3 H1 in our document. Okay, then let's create paragraphs. Let's say paragraphs, my first paragraph, paragraph. So I'll just copy this and paste it so to save our time. C to V, the V, and the V. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we have about 5 paragraphs here. Then I can just come here and change it. So I write my second, my third, my fourth. Oh, sorry. My fourth, then my fifth paragraph. So we have 5 headings right now and 5 paragraphs. Let's refresh our pages. Refresh our page to see the changes. So you can see this is it. It's looking so big. This is first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth H1. Then we have 5 paragraphs as well. So what I want us to do right now is let's assume we don't have the style, the internal CSS, which is the style tag that is in between the header. Imagine we want to give H1 the color of red. We want to make the color of H1 of these three H1 red at the same time, and these two, we want to make them blue, or we want to make the 5 of them red, their colors, the text color should be red. You understand? Imagine we want to do something like that. We have to come in here and write style. We write this like, we write it 5 times because we want to style this thing 5 times. And the annoying part is that I want to give it the same color. So we just, it is going to waste our time. But with the help of internal CSS, okay, you can simply come to the in between the head tag of your page. Okay, come there and type in style. Okay, Visual Studio Code will bring out this option for you, but if it doesn't, just type it the manual way. That style, it is a tag like every other tag. The / ends it. Then in between the tag must be in the header. So instead of coming and writing the same color, the same thing, because we want to give all of them a heading color of blue. You understand? We can just come in here and we can say in between the style tag, the style element, then we can write H1. H1, now we are not telling our browser, our HTML document that, okay, I want to select H1 now. What I want to style is the H1 tag. Now, if you are styling what we call a tag name, if you are styling what a tag name, you just have you don't have to type. If you are starting to style a tag name with internal CSS, you don't have to type this anymore. Okay, you don't have to type that. Just type in H1. Okay, the browser and HTML, we know that is trying to style the heading 1. If you're trying to style the paragraph, you write P. So you don't have to write it in this thing again. There will be an error. It will not work. So just type H1. Okay. Now that the browser knows, okay, what this guy wants to do, he wants to make 1 or 2 changes, or he wants to make some changes, style the H1 tag. Now, what is next? What is next? What is next? What style do we now want to do? Now the browser knows that, okay, what we want to do is to style the H1 tag. We have to use what we call curly braces, curly bracket or curly braces for doing this. For us to now say, when we are using the style attribute, the inline style attribute, we can just come here and write style equals to double quotes, then the background color, the property name, and the value. But in internal CSS, it is a bit different. We don't use equal to, we use curly braces. We use curly braces. Okay, instead of equal to. So when you type H1, you type a curly braces, a left-hand curly brace. Okay, a left-hand curly bracket, not the normal bracket. We have the normal bracket, so this should not be a challenge. We have the normal bracket. It is a curly braces. Please search on your keyboard very well for it. Okay, then now that the browser knows that, okay, this is what we want to do, now he's about to design something. He's getting somewhere. We have the H1, then we have the curly braces. Then we cannot type something like color. This is color. Let's type it manually. So we do it step by step. Then color, then column. Then we can say red. Then semicolon. So if you notice something, you notice that the similarity between the inline CSS and the external CSS is that they all have this property name and a colon after the property name. Then the next thing that follows is the value. So that did not change. It did not change anything. Okay, so that should just still be the same. It should be the same. Then you will have to use what we call the closing curly brace. In the style attribute, we use the quotation. We use quotation symbols to open it and to close it. But for the internal CSS, we use curly braces instead, without any equal to sign. You don't need any equal to, it will not work. If you use equal to, it will not work. So just make sure you do it this way: curly braces, opening it, then type in the property. The property is, okay, what exactly do you want to do? Is it the background color you want to change? Is it the font size? Is it the font family? Is it the text align? But in this case, we want to change the color. Then the value is, okay, if all properties have a value, if it is the color, it should be the red. If it should be blue. You understand? So there are different kinds of colors. So we're choosing red. So, and we have to close it with, we have to make sure we use the semicolon after it. Now we have successfully closed this. Let's open our page and let's use Ctrl S, or let's come down here and let's save this here. Let's open our page and let's see if everything will actually change to red. So I'll just come here and I'll click on the refresh button. Wow, all the headings changed to red. You can see that the paragraph did not change to red because I did not call the paragraph. I did not specify the paragraph. I did not do any style for the paragraph. But all the headings now are red. Okay, so I will show you later in this lesson how to use things like this one, you want the first 3 headings to be red and the last 2 should be blue, whatever color you want it to be. You understand? But how to do that with the internal CSS. Now you can see that this is a lot more helpful. Now what this means is that whatever we have in between the curly braces belongs to this particular tag, which is the H1 tag. As you can see, when I take my mouse over it, when I highlight it, it is highlighting all that H1 tag as well. Okay, so what we actually mean now is that everything we have in between these curly braces. So in between these curly braces, the good thing about it is that you can just break it down like this. Okay, you can break it down. You can break it down like this. Just bring this in here. Sorry. So you can break it down like this. So I can just come down here again and I'll say it gives it more structure. I can say background color. Background color. Background color should be blue. Should be blue. So if I save this, you can see that I have the column and the semicolon. But everything is still in between this. Don't separate it by comma. Just separate it by the colon. Okay? It is just like you typing this. If you do it this way and you open it on the browser, if you refresh it, you can see that it has a background. All H1 now have a background color of blue. Okay? It is as well the same as doing it this way. It is the same if you do it this same way. If I cut it right now and paste it after here. Okay? It is the same. It will still give us the same result. If I refresh my browser, you can see that it is still giving us the same result. So it doesn't really matter. So it is just best practice to always put it like this so it won't confuse you. Okay, so you can still go ahead and do more things like writing the font size, and doing all that. Okay, but just make sure that everything you're doing is in between these curly braces too, and the tag you're trying to style is there. So I will teach you how to actually do some more things with HTML. Okay, so that is how to use it. That's very good. The next thing we want to do is we want to style the paragraphs. So what we are going to do right now is to use the P tag. Then the P tag, don't put any arrow before it or after it. Just type in the curly braces again. You can just open the curly braces. So we know that, okay, we're editing right now inside the curly braces. We're inside the curly braces. Okay. Then we can just type in the color we want it to be. So color, you can say we want the color to be yellow. Is yellow? Is yellow okay? Let's say yellow. Yellow. Then if we open it up on the browser, you see that all the paragraphs colors should change to yellow. I think that's not really clear, so I have to make it clearer. So write green. So I've saved that by using Ctrl S. Remember, I'm only saving my file using Ctrl S. So I refresh this. You can see that all the paragraphs are now green. So what this actually means is P means the tag name. So H1 means the tag name. So the HTML already know that, okay, what it's trying to style is this tag name. So HTML will look for it by the tag name. Okay, then whatever color you assign to it is what it's going to take. Okay, so that is how you work with internal CSS. Now we've learned about internal and inline CSS. Okay, so for external CSS, I will be covering that in this lesson. So it's just simply by using things like using external link. So you don't have to write all these styles in this page. Okay, you can write it in that page that is dedicated for only the CSS. That will make a lot of sense. Okay, that will make a lot of sense. If I clear this right now, let me just explain that clearly to you. And I paste this. And I paste this. Then we have the relationship between them. We have something like the relationship. If you want to use external CSS, for instance, let me just show you an example. you have to use something we call